report will playoff drought continue. While the offseason has been slow to take shape, the Seattle Mariners have been at the center of several key moves, and not all outcomes have been beneficial thus far. USA Today's Gabe Lacques takes a look at the team. Prospect 5 years after the Mariners made him the third overall pick in the 2012 draft, Mike Zunino reached the level the club envisioned, setting offensive highs across the board. He entered 2017 with career marks of .195 in batting average and .632 in OPS but batted .251, smacked 25 home runs and posted a .840 OPS in 124 games. For now, Mike Marjama, David Freitas and Tuffy Gosewisch will vie to back up Zunino, who turns 27 in March. Depth chart: Zunino, Marjama, Freitas, Gosewisch. More MLB coverage. Jerry Dipoto was one of the first general managers to dip into the trading pool this winter, naturally, when he dealt a pair of minor leaguers to the Oakland Athletics for Ryan Healy. Now, the 25-year-old is expected to get most of the playing time at first for the Mariners. Expendable thanks to the emergence of Matt Olson, Healy posted a .788 OPS and 38 homers in 845 at-bats over the last 2 seasons. Dan Vogelbach couldn't seize a chance to platoon at first base last year and got just 31 big league plate appearances. Barring a huge spring, he figures to start in Class AAA Tacoma, Washington, again. Rule 5 pick Mike Ford will get a spring look but could face a roster-crunching return to the New York Yankees. Depth chart: Healy, Taylor Motter, Vogelbach, Ford. So far it has been well worth the $240 million the club laid out to lure Robinson Cano to the Northwest. An all-star in 3 of his 4 years in Seattle, Cano dropped off in almost every offensive category last season but still produced 23 homers and a .791 OPS. Cano turned 35 in October, and the Mariners' window for creating a championship-caliber club around an all-star caliber Cano is starting to close. Depth chart: Cano, Motter, Gordon Beckham, Andrew Ramini. 2 months into his stint in Seattle, Gene Segura signed a 5-year, $70 million contract extension, and he spent the rest of the season showing that was a prudent investment. Segura, who turns 28 in March, produced an OPS plus of 110 and got on base at a .349 clip, tops among all shortstops with at least 500 at-bats. Segura won't produce big power numbers like he did in Arizona but gives the Mariners a steady and dependable hand at a crucial position through at least 2022. Depth chart: Segura, Motter, Gordon Beckham, Ramini. Now 30, Kyle Seager might look back on 2016 as his career year, when he hit 30 homers, drove in 99 runs, produced a .859 OPS and finished 12th in the AL MVP voting. He managed 27 homers, but his batting average and OPS dipped to .249, a career low, and .773. Seager remains reliable. He's played in at least 154 games in each of the last 6 seasons, and should stay relatively productive as he plays out the remaining 4 years and $76.5 million on his contract. Depth chart: Seager, Beckham, Motter, Ramini. Joe Rizzo. Ben Gamel emerged as a serviceable option over 134 games, batting .275 with 11 home runs and a .322 on-base percentage. With insignificant power and speed, Gamel doesn't project to blossom into much more than a league-average option in left but should be a useful piece in a full or part-time role going forward. Cuban product Guillermo Heredia needed minor off-season shoulder surgery but should be ready for spring training. He figures to back up all 3 outfield positions. Depth chart: Gamel, Heredia, Kirk Niehues. And so the grand experiment begins. Can D. Gordon convert from second base to center field while adapting to a new league and still hit enough to overcome his meager slugging output? Gordon, acquired in a trade from the Miami Marlins, finished second in the NL with 201 hits, and in a season marked by a record number of home runs across the major leagues, Gordon led the majors in singles, with 170. Still, Spring training should be sufficient time for Gordon to apply his elite speed into becoming a plus defender in center field. He's due $38 million over the next 3 seasons. Depth chart: Gordon, Heredia, Niuhu. As the Mitch Haniger experience was a largely positive one last season, as the former Diamondback was handed the right field job and held it down nicely in 96 games, producing a 126 OPS plus and 16 homers. Haniger was particularly effective away from Safeco Field, producing a .876 OPS and hitting 10 of his 16 homers. With the trade of Tyler O'Neill and little elite outfield depth at the top of the system beyond number 1 prospect Kyle Lewis, whose ascent has been delayed by a major knee injury in 2016, right field could belong to Haniger for a while. Depth chart: Haniger, Heredia, Ramini. Nelson Cruz is the greatest right-handed hitter at Safeco Field since Edgar Martinez. With homer totals of 44, 43 and 39 and RBI totals of 93, 105 and 119, the Mariners have already recouped the $57 million invested in him. Now they must hope to play well enough in the first half that Cruz, 37, doesn't become trade bait in July. Depth chart: Cruz, Haniger, Vogelbach. The sting of losing out on Shohei Ohtani to the Los Angeles Angels might never go away, particularly if the young, cost-effective Japanese right-hander bedevils them for the next 6 or 7 seasons. While Ohtani, too, would have been a question mark, the Mariner rotation will be a source of great volatility. Nose: 3 to 4 starters Mike Leake and Erasmo Ramirez will give you what they have: a veteran quality start machine in Leake and a decent back-end guy in Ramirez, who likely won't see much of the opposing order for a third time through. Beyond that, however, things can vary wildly. Will James Paxton stay healthy an entire season and get north of the 136 very dominant innings he threw last year despite forearm and pectoral strains? Can erstwhile Felix Hernandez, who turns 32 in April, regain that status after a 2017 in which he posted a 4.36 ERA, worst since 2006, and was limited to 16 starts by shoulder ailments? Will Angel Miranda, Marco Gonzalez, 23-year-old Andrew Moore or old friend Hisashi Iwakuma, signed to a minor league deal, round out the back end and provide what looks to be very necessary depth? They'll need best-case scenarios in almost all those cases if there's any hope of closing the gap on the World Series champion Houston Astros or even the Angels, who won 80 games to the Mariners' 78 yet should be significantly improved. Depth chart: LHP Paxton, RHP Hernandez, RHP Leake, RHP Ramirez, LHP Miranda, LHP Gonzalez, RHP Moore, RHP Iwakuma, RHP Max Puffs. Mariners relievers ranked 7th in the AL with a 4.06 ERA, but the unit should be more of an asset in 2018 after the signing of right-hander Juan Nicasio to a 2-year deal. Closer Edwin Diaz should have an excellent setup crew filled with hard throwers such as Nicasio, David Phelps and Nick Vincent. A return to form from lefty Mark Rzepczynski, whose ERA ballooned from 2.64 to 4.02. would also aid the cause. Depth chart: RHP Diaz, RHP Nicasio, RHP Phelps, RHP Vincent, LHP Rzepczynski, LHP James Pazos, RHP Tony Zige, RHP Sean Armstrong, RHP Mike Morin, RHP Dan Altavla, RHP Nick Rumbelow. Excerpted from BaseballHQ.com's 2018 Minor League Baseball Analyst. To order, http://www.baseball.com/minor league baseball analyst 1. Kyle Lewis, of. Lewis is an elite athlete but played in just 49 games due to knee surgery in 2016. The 22-year-old has plus power to all fields and the ability to hit for a high batting average. He usually runs well, though lingering knee issues might curtail that tool. Lewis will likely ascend to Class AA. 2. Evan White, 1B. White, 21, possesses innate bat control for easy contact and solid plate coverage. He could hit for a plus batting average but will need to add some loft in order to realize his power potential. White played in 14 short season games after signing due to a quadriceps injury in 2017. 3. Sam Carlson, RHP. Carlson is a projectable starter with mid-rotation tools. Just 19, he already has a terrific fastball and changeup. But his velocity is inconsistent and he'll need to upgrade his slower slider. He'll likely be assigned to short season ball. 4. Braden Bishop, of Bishop, 24, hit .306 with 22 steals in a breakout campaign that ended at Class AA. He can chase down balls in center field and steal bases. There's enough bat speed for gap power, but homers aren't a part of his game. He could start at Class AAA. 5. Julio Rodriguez, of Rodriguez was a high-profile signee in 2017 and has tantalizing upside. His power is already above average, and while there's length to his swing, he projects to hit for a solid batting average. He runs well and is an ideal right fielder. Just 19, he likely won't reach the majors until 2023. Jeremy Delaney,